Hello, I'm Wayde Looker, Ohio Agronomist, and today is another edition of the Golden Harvest Agronomy Minute. Rains have been scattered and few and far between across much of the state over the past couple of weeks. Therefore, I thought it would be a good idea to take a couple minutes and just talk about what that means for our crop and what to look for in terms of drought stress. First, let's touch on corn. The first thing that you'll notice with corn is that their leaves are rolled. So they'll roll up into more of a cylinder shape rather than the flat horizontal leaves that we're used to seeing. You may also notice that the corn plant no longer has that deep dark green that we like to see, and may appear more of a gray color. Fortunately, much of Ohio is still in the vegetative growth at this time, and hasn't reached the reproductive stages that occur at tassel and then after tassel. That's a really good thing because drought stress is much more yield limiting in corn during the reproductive stages. However, that doesn't mean that we are out of the woods right now either. Vegetative growth does have some negative yield impacts to drought stress. Fortunately, a corn plant at this stage can survive about 4 days of drought stress without having any impact on yield. However, after that 4th day, any more subsequent days, day 5, day 6, day 7, of drought stress, we can begin to see a loss of about 1 to 3 bushels per acre per day. But what about soybeans? Soybeans are also impacted by drought stress. One of the things that you'll see with soybeans is that their leaves will actually flip over. I was in eastern Ohio this week and I began to see areas in fields that may have been more affected by drought stress in other areas of the field that had the characteristic leaves flipped over and they look a different color. Therefore, it's pretty easy to pick out as you're driving down the road what parts of your field are more affected by drought stress than others. Soybeans will also appear to be shorter and won't have as much above ground vegetative growth as soybeans that are not affected by drought stress. Fortunately, during periods of drought stress, soybeans allocate more of their resources, their nutrients, their just overall productivity to below ground growth, and basically those roots search out water. Then, once either the roots find more water or we get some rain, that above ground growth, that above ground vegetative growth that we're used to seeing, will ramp up once again. So with that has been this week's edition of the Golden Harvest Agronomy Minute. Stay tuned for next week's edition.